cannabis or marijuana? Marijuana comes from the cannabis plant and is the most widely used illegal drug in the world. Most people smoke it, but you can also vape it or eat it in edibles like brownies or gummies. The active ingredient is THC, which latches onto receptors throughout your brain. Within minutes of smoking, reality starts to shift, colors become more vivid, music takes on new layers, time moves differently, sometimes crawling, sometimes jumping. Your body feels heavy, like you're sinking into the couch. Hunger hits hard, the infamous munchies. Some people feel relaxed and giggly. Others spiral into paranoia, convinced everyone knows they're high. The effects last a few hours before fading. With regular use, your brain adjusts, and everyday life without it feels less rewarding. Memory gets fuzzy and motivation drops. What starts as occasional fun can quietly become a daily habit. Cocaine. Cocaine is a powerful stimulant extracted from coca leaves. It comes as a white powder that people snort, though some inject it. The moment it hits your bloodstream, your brain floods with dopamine at levels it was never designed to handle. Within seconds, confidence explodes. You feel unstoppable, brilliant, like you've unlocked a better version of yourself. Words flow effortlessly. Energy surges through your body. Your heart pounds and pupils dilate. Every idea seems genius. But the high burns bright and dies fast, usually within 30 minutes. As dopamine crashes, so does your mood. Anxiety creeps in. Paranoia follows. You feel hollow, desperate for another line just to stop feeling terrible. Your brain quickly learns to crave that spike. The crash gets worse every time. Cocaine rewires your reward system until normal pleasure feels impossible. MDMA/Ecstasy. MDMA is a synthetic drug that comes as colorful pills or powder. People call it Ecstasy, Molly, or just E. It floods your brain with serotonin, the chemical that makes you feel happy and connected. Within an hour of swallowing a pill, waves of euphoria wash over you. Everything feels intense. Music becomes transcendent. Touch feels incredible. You feel overwhelming love for everyone around you, even strangers. Barriers dissolve. Conversations flow deep and honest. You dance for hours without getting tired. Your jaw clenches involuntarily and your body temperature rises. But MDMA is draining your brain's serotonin reserves completely. When the high ends after 4 to 6 hours, the crash is brutal. Depression, exhaustion, and emptiness replace the euphoria. Your brain can't produce happiness naturally for days afterward. Use it too often, and you damage serotonin neurons permanently. Ketamine. Ketamine was created as an anesthetic for surgery and is still used in hospitals today. On the street, it's a white powder people snort or inject. Ketamine doesn't speed you up or slow you down normally. It disconnects you. Your mind separates from your body in a way that feels surreal and dreamlike. At low doses, everything becomes distant and muffled. Your limbs feel heavy. Speech becomes difficult. Balance disappears completely. At higher doses, you enter what users call the K-hole, a state where you lose all sense of your physical body. You might feel like you're floating through space, traveling through dimensions, or watching your life from the outside. Time stops making sense. Some find it spiritual, others find it terrifying. The experience can last from 30 minutes to a few hours. When it wears off, confusion and memory gaps linger. Regular use damages your bladder severely and can cause permanent cognitive problems. Methamphetamine. Methamphetamine, or meth, is a synthetic stimulant that comes as crystals people smoke, snort, or inject. It's one of the most addictive drugs on Earth. When it hits your brain, it releases massive amounts of dopamine and keeps it flooding for hours, sometimes over 12 hours. You feel invincible. Energy explodes through your body. You don't need food or sleep. Your mind races at impossible speed. Tasks that normally bore you become fascinating, but that energy is borrowed from your future self. Your body is running on fumes while your brain chemistry collapses. The crash is devastating. Depression, exhaustion, and paranoia hit hard. Hallucinations can develop. Users see shadow people or feel bugs crawling under their skin. Long-term use destroys your teeth, ages your face rapidly, and causes permanent brain damage. Meth hijacks your survival instincts until the drug feels more important than food or water. Heroin/opioids. Heroin comes from morphine, which comes from opium poppies. It's usually a brown or white powder that people inject, snort, or smoke. The moment it enters your bloodstream, heroin converts to morphine and floods your brain's opioid receptors. A wave of intense euphoria washes over you, often called a rush. All pain disappears, physical and emotional. Stress, fear, sadness. Everything melts away. Your body feels warm, heavy, safe. You sink into a calm so deep it feels like being wrapped in the world's softest blanket. Breathing slows. Your heart rate drops. You drift in and out of consciousness, not quite asleep but not fully awake. The high lasts several hours before the warmth fades. What's left is sickness. Heroin is viciously addictive. After just a few uses, stopping brings brutal withdrawal, muscle pain, nausea, vomiting, insomnia, bone-deep discomfort. Your brain needs the drug just to feel normal. Overdose is common because tolerance builds fast and the line between high and death is razor thin. LSD or acid is one of the most powerful hallucinogens known. It comes on tiny pieces of paper called tabs. The dose is microscopic, just a few millionths of a gram, but the effects are massive. Within 30 minutes of placing a tab on your tongue, reality starts bending. Colors become impossibly vivid. Patterns breathe and move. Objects melt or morph into something else entirely. Music doesn't just sound different. You can see it. Time loses all meaning. Minutes feel like hours. Your sense of self dissolves. The boundaries between you and the world blur. Some people describe it as spiritual, feeling connected to the universe. Others experience terror as their mind spirals into paranoia. The trip lasts 8 to 12 hours with no way to stop it once it starts. Your perception is completely hijacked. LSD isn't physically addictive, but it can trigger lasting psychological problems. Some people experience flashbacks months or years later, suddenly reliving parts of the trip without warning. Mushrooms. Psilocybin. Magic mushrooms contain psilocybin, a naturally occurring psychedelic compound. They're eaten raw, dried, or brewed into tea. About 30 minutes after eating them, reality begins to shift. Patterns start moving. Colors intensify. Objects breathe and pulse with life. You might laugh uncontrollably at things that aren't funny. Deep emotional waves wash over you. Nature feels alive and connected to you in a profound way. The peak lasts several hours. Your mind opens in ways that feel revelatory. Some people report life-changing insights. Others spiral into fear as the loss of control becomes overwhelming. Unlike LSD, mushrooms feel more organic, more grounded. The experience tends to be gentler, though high doses can still shatter your sense of reality. When the trip ends, you're left emotionally drained, but often reflective. Mushrooms aren't physically addictive, but they're psychologically intense. Set and setting determine whether the experience is beautiful or traumatic. Bad trips can leave lasting anxiety or trigger existing mental health issues. Crack cocaine. Crack is cocaine that's been cooked with baking soda into a rock form that can be smoked. Smoking it delivers cocaine to your brain faster and more intensely than snorting powder. The high hits within seconds, a rush so powerful it's often described as orgasmic. Your entire body lights up. Euphoria slams into you. Confidence explodes. You feel godlike, invincible, unstoppable. But the intensity comes with a cost. The high peaks hard, but crashes even harder. Within 5 to 10 minutes, it's over. The come down is immediate and brutal. Anxiety, paranoia, and crushing depression replace the euphoria. You crave another hit desperately. Right now? Immediately. This cycle creates addiction faster than almost any other drug. Users smoke it repeatedly, chasing that first hit that never quite returns. Crack destroys lives rapidly. It burns through money, relationships, and health at shocking speed. The intense, short high makes it nearly impossible to quit once the cycle starts. Xanax/Benzos. Xanax is the brand name for alprazolam, part of a drug family called benzodiazepines. Doctors prescribe them for anxiety and panic attacks, but they're widely abused. Xanax and other benzos like Valium or Klonopin work by enhancing GABA, the brain chemical that calms neural activity. Within 20 minutes of swallowing a pill, anxiety dissolves. Your muscles relax completely. Worry evaporates. Everything feels soft, easy, manageable. Higher doses bring euphoria and memory loss. You might black out entirely and wake up hours later with no recollection of what you did. That's where the danger multiplies. People drive, make terrible decisions, hurt themselves or others, and remember none of it. Benzos are highly addictive, especially when mixed with alcohol, which can stop your breathing. Tolerance builds fast, so you need more to feel the same calm. Withdrawal is dangerous, potentially deadly. Stopping suddenly can cause seizures. Your brain can't regulate anxiety on its own anymore. What started as prescribed relief becomes a trap.